call the meeting to order at 6:01. We'll start with a roll call.
Mrs. Frazier,
Here.
Mr. Markovitz, Mr. Mitlick,
Here.
Mr. Sharma,
Here.
and Mr. Spice. Not.
I'm going to skip the excusing absent members for a few minutes, and we'll see if Don comes in. Did anyone get a chance to read the minutes from the June 3rd meeting?
I missed them on purpose, so
Okay.
I'll still.
Any
Okay with
comments?
them.
Okay, will you make a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve minutes from last meeting.
Second it.
All right, Ms. Frazier,
Yes.
Mr. Mitlick,
Yes.
and Mr. Sharma.
Yes.
Okay. We have 3 cases on the agenda. Is there anyone here tonight who does not have a case on the agenda? Okay, then we can start with the first case, which was 1959 Summit Commerce Parkway.
Hello. My name is Gomesias. I own the fast signs in...
You hold for just a second.
Sure.
This is our other board member.
Oh, sure.
Hi, Don.
We have...
She has them. They're right there. Yeah, they're right there in the yellow folder. The top folder, they should be in order.
Oh, okay. That sounds good. All right. Bye-bye. They just got dropped off by the seniors bus, and he is on his way over. So,
Do you want me to wait?
he'll probably be,
Yeah, we don't
I mean,
know.
he might be 10 minutes
Okay.
by the time he drives over and walks in. And
Okay.
So give us just a moment here. We'll pass these out. And sorry. Unless it's very questionable as to what you're doing, I think we'll probably just go ahead and do your case now. Here, it's a sign.
It's a corporate, so Hitachi Healthcare Systems just recently got bought by Fujifilm, and so they're updating their monument sign and their front of building sign to meet the new corporate standards. So we're basically taking down what's currently up and replacing it with the renderings that you see in a like-for-like manner.
So you have more than one sign?
There's 3 monument signs, they're all the same, and then there's the front of building sign, which is dimensional letterings at the very top.
I
So
do know
it did say Hitachi, now it will say Fujifilm.
That's correct.
And the letters are individual channel letters?
They're individual channel letters, yes. It's a like-for-like swap, so the letters that are currently at the top of the building are formed plastic, so they will be formed plastic in the brand colors. The monument signs are HDU panels, and they will be HDU panels with the new logo.
Is anything lit?
No.
Okay.
So I know that building, when it was Hitachi. They didn't do any new construction on it though, right?
They did not, no. It's just a name change. Well, it's a, yes, sir.
Pretty cool.
Sounds good to me.
I'm going to move it to approve it as submitted.
I'll second it.
Ms. Frazier,
Yes.
Mr. Mitlick,
Yes.
Mr. Sharma.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
I think
I'm
got it.
not sure that's exactly the same.
I am. So the next step, I'll take that over to Keith, and then from there.
This is the,
permits, okay?
what we just approved, right?
we can stamp them later, all at once. Is that okay? Like at the after we adjourn, we can stamp them all at once?
No, stamp them now and pass them
Stamp
down,
them
because
now.
that way we know who voted on these, because Don didn't vote on this one.
Okay.
Yeah. Jen, is that stamp good?
It says good.
Okay.
It's not better, though.
You know who wrote that on there? Dave did a long time ago.
That's what he said.
And this is his second term.
And you only need 2 of them stamped, right?
Yes.
And I did put in a request, so we're working on the purchase order to get you guys another.
Nice.
Yeah.
This one's good.
Oh, it says good, and it works?
I can read it.
Well, maybe we'll have 2 then, if it... So we'll send that down, and these go your way.
tell you it comes with a free lunch too if you approve it? Where would you like this?
Did John sign too? Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
I'll sign it.
John should sign too.
Yeah. I should walk you through it real quick. But pretty much, this is how you do it. You check what it is. Does this go with that one?
Yes. Yes, that's high tide. Fujifilm.
That's where Tom told me that they were switching over for quite a while, but half a year ago we said they were buying them out. Would have thought Fuji be bigger than Hitachi?
Instead of writing chairman's name, that's where I sign.
Oh,
So you don't have to write my name.
Yeah.
all right.
I just sign next to it.
Yeah, cool.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, it's one less thing to write. You just have to check the box.
Check it, sign it.
And then if we make any changes to it, any notes, a lot of times if it's something that's specific that you'll be able to see on a picture, I'll draw it on. And sometimes I'll draw it on and then you can copy it
Copy
onto
it.
the other one or,
Gotcha. I think I did that last time.
Yeah.
okay.
I'll leave up here soon, I'm sure. I think his mother's been sick, I'm not sure though. South for a while.
All right. So I guess we're ready for the next case. It is Brewster's, Creekside Drive.
All right. Hello, everybody. My name is Adele Winsek, and I am presenting for B-Next Design. And today we are proposing new replacement signage for Brewster's located at 2681 Creekside Drive. And both signs that we are proposing today are front and backlit channel letters. And the sign above the main entrance, the B will be 48 inches high, and the rest of the letters are 24 inches high. And then the other sign is, the B is going to be 36 inches high, and the rest of the letters will be 18 inches. And both will be mounted to a 1-inch by 1-inch rail system, and that'll be painted to match the wall that they are being mounted on. And they are both going to have a white halo glow behind them, be front and backlit. The frontage of this location is 50 feet, and the front sign, we're looking at 73.3 square feet. Side sign is going to be 40.5.
Okay. And will the canopies also be changing to black as is shown in the
Yes.
image? Okay.
Just plain black.
I think it's nice. I think it's a little more contemporary. It looks
Yeah,
nice.
I like it better. No, not that it was bad before.
Right.
I'm okay with it.
Can we make a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve as is.
I'll second it.
Ms. Frazier,
Yes.
Mr. Mitlick,
Yes.
Mr. Sharma.
Yes. Should I do it on the back or front?
Do you have two?
yeah.
So a lot of, what's nice to do is to fold over. Marge used to do this. I liked it.
I'll be in touch.
Fold over the first page about that far enough that you can put the stamp on it. And that way they see it when they pick the papers up, that it's a stamped set.
Gotcha. Oh, there was a quick one today.
I guess we'll do the last case before Don gets here.
Yeah.
Let's pass it out.
Should be a copy in there for everybody.
Yeah. You are?
Hi, Don.
I like how the way they
Hey, Don.
it makes it easy to understand what they're trying to do, and I think I wish they can just all do this the easy way.
Yeah. Yes, that's professional print.
Yeah, it makes it much easier, like, basically says what the scope of work is, description. Like,
Yeah.
just anybody can read through it.
Sorry about being late.
Hands-on is,
Good work.
a lot of times we.
This is, yeah. No, I like it.
Okay, so we're on the last case. We had 3 cases. The first 2 were signed, so they went real fast. This one's on the square.
Okay.
Okay, so we're on the 3rd case tonight. It is 9799 Ravenna Road.
Hello, everybody. My name is Matt Radicelli. My wife, Kristen, and I purchased 9799 Ravenna Road last year for our portrait photography business, and we are seeking to improve the property by doing a freshening with contemporary vertical siding, board and batten, and a vertical black metal roof design, as the pictures display. There are no architectural changes happening to the building, and all doors and window positions will remain the same size and in the exact same location.
I actually have a sample of what the roof's going to be. It's not the right color, but it'll be black textured, same panel, same style. And then this is the board and batten. This is the sample he's getting. He's getting the 8-inch board and batten.
So this is vinyl.
Vinyl board and batten, yes.
Yeah, it's not I've seen that, so, but it's, you attach it sideways.
Yeah,
Correct.
it's just, yeah, vertical.
You don't see too much of it like that, no? I mean, I see it done like.
Right,
piece
no.
by piece.
Yeah.
I saved you a lot of time, because I just got done doing the whole thing on it, yeah.
Oh, did you? Yeah, that's 8-inch pieces, man.
But
Yeah.
is
The
it
texture
really-
itself is the same repeating pattern that's currently on
Yeah.
Cracker Barrel.
Okay.
It just happens to be vinyl, so it requires no painting or maintenance.
Right,
I've
a
seen,
lot faster.
Yeah.
I've seen some of the new houses.
Unfortunately, this is in the commercial center of, yes, and I don't believe that vinyl is a material that is approved in that location.
Yeah, I don't know that either. I know we talked about that area, though. We should have something on it.
I believe the siding that's on the building right now is vinyl. However, I'm open to suggestion, I was not aware of that. And if it
Okay.
needs to be converted to wood, board and batten, like the building across the street,
Like a hardy plank?
Yeah.
Something that's a cementitious so that it's not wood where it would rot out, but,
yeah.
It would
Hardy
be-
board, texture 187, et cetera. That's completely possible.
No,
within the scope.
Granite, that's for sure.
yeah.
You know, vinyl, I would know looking at it that it's vinyl.
Right. I don't think we can have vinyl in the central business district. I believe when we went through and approved materials that
Right.
vinyl was not in that listing.
How old is this building? Do you know how old it is?
It was the dates that I have based on title transfer go back to the early 1900s. It was a service station,
Right.
To when?
early 1900s.
The early 1900s?
This building here where Cupcake is right next to the Veterans Garden.
It was previously the copy shop.
There's vinyl right now, right?
Yeah.
If he purchased it with
Yeah.
vinyl, then when he purchased it, it had vinyl. Is that right?
Yeah.
When we approached
Right,
the-
right, right. No, it currently does have horizontal vinyl siding on it. Right. But we probably about, I don't know, 3 or 4 years ago, went through materials for the core business district at the town square. And because they're looking to do more redevelopment downtown, and so we were looking at what materials, that way when contractors come through with their designs, we have something that says this is our standard for downtown, and we don't have, you know, any exposed plywood, we don't have any vinyl siding, that we're using higher-end commercial materials rather than residential quality materials.
Would you prefer the hardy board be used? Because if so, it's a 1-to-1 match within our budget.
I think it would look better, because it'd look authentic to me.
Okay?
This.
The hardy board is higher maintenance, is that it?
No.
Higher,
Not at all.
it's higher
Very durable.
expense, but it's,
Very durable.
you're right, hardy board, you could bounce a tennis ball on it and it won't dent, whereas vinyl, if you hit the corners of it, it dents. It's not right, it doesn't have an impact resistance.
Right. And you don't have to paint it as much, or you don't.
Well,
have to
vinyl
worry
doesn't
about
have
it.
any paint.
Yeah.
But yeah, you don't have, right, yeah, it does have durability to it.
We're seeking for whatever the material is that's approved to have a vertical pattern. That's essentially it. So
Just what about
Yeah,
steel?
hardy board's a better look for me.
What about steel?
For the roof,
For siding?
No,
that's almost.
no,
like-
they'd have to be architectural metal panels in order to,
Okay, I was just asking. That's fine.
right, no, it can't be like a steel siding like you would put on a shed or a barn in the country.
No,
Yeah,
you can get commercial grade, that's why,
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, if it was architectural panels and you actually got the seams in the right location so that they align with the windows, and that could be interesting to do.
we're looking for it to be for the board and batten look, whether it's hardy board or not. And if that isn't approved, then we will switch back to horizontal in whatever material that you decide on. So please
Okay.
just advise us what you'd like us to do.
If I'm looking at it, I think the hardy board would be a much better look.
Okay?
Yeah, I'm with John. We'll go with John.
So you're talking about Hardy board and batten,
Yeah.
as in James Hardy? Okay. Just making sure that we weren't talking about like
Well, I only
T
know as hardy board.
111,
It's
right,
like
right,
almost a
right.
cement
It's
board.
hardy plank, right, yeah.
Hardy
Okay,
plank,
yep,
yeah.
okay.
And then, so you're gonna be putting sheets of it up and just on the seams and probably add them where there's not seams, the vertical pieces.
They have seams on them for the type that come, and then they interlock and they overlap each other.
Okay, yeah, so that's good too.
And it should come pre-finished in whatever color.
It is
Right.
pre-finished and also paintable for hardy board.
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, you can get it finished with it.
'Cause you referenced something across the street, and I know that there's one across the street where it's like the old wood, what's it called?
T111?
T111, right. And I just want to be clear that we're not talking about putting T111 on this. Okay,
We've used hardy board on million-dollar homes all the time, yeah.
okay. All right, so then white color, no issue with that. You'll use appropriate trim pieces. I know in this rendering, your overhang is coming over the building, but you would put a freeze board at the top, trim the bottom, make it,
It's exactly the same that it is, so the fascia itself would remain white as it is now, and the gutter would be changed to black to match the roof. And all
Okay.
trim on the building, with the exception of the column, which is on the right-hand side facing the street. We would like everything to be black, but we're likely going to have the columns stay white.
those two columns that are off on the far right.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And then you'll change the gutters to black. And you're doing new windows and new doors?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
And you mentioned they're same style, same size.
They are. They're identical. There are no window trim additions, no crosshairs,
Yeah.
nothing like that. They're the same as they are now.
Yeah.
Right.
The black and white's very trendy right now.
That's, I personally don't like it,
Yeah.
the modern farmhouse style, because
don't
the
like it, but
windows,
someone else's.
in renderings, the windows always use reflective glass, and so that they look bright, but in reality, when you see them in person, the windows look dark, and so it looks like black squares on a white striped surface. And I know it's really big right now, it's been big for about 2 or 3 years. Maybe 5, but
white
yeah.
is slightly on its way out on some things,
Yeah, no,
especially inside houses. I'm not saying outside, but inside for sure.
So, I know, so it concerns me a little bit, but that's my opinion on the style of it. I know it's
Yeah.
trending right now.
Yeah, I'm with
So
you
it-
on that, but it doesn't bother me that it's yours.
Yeah.
Right.
I think it's a better look than what it is now.
Okay,
It's not my look, but I can't say it's terrible either, yeah.
right. Will you be doing this on all faces of it, or just the front face?
Front and the sides, as
And
it
the
is
si-
now. The
okay.
rear of the building will remain cinder block and will be power washed, potentially sandblasted if required, and then painted
Okay,
to freshen it up.
and painted white?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, and then the roofing material,
It's an 11-inch on-center metal roof. It has a semi-glossy material to avoid glare. Like some metal roofs can have direct glare come off of them. This does not, because it has a texture. If you'd like to feel it, we can show you. It has an 11-inch peak-to-peak run, so it's a little bit more narrow to fit the profile and the proportions of the small building. They do make them wider. We're using an 11, and that's it. It's a little bit smaller of a profile than the building sitting behind McDonald's that has a metal roof, and it's a different material. So
that's, yeah, the one behind McDonald's, are they doing standing seam?
they are,
Okay.
and it's a little bit of a wider run.
We just had a quick discussion on this 2 meetings ago, where a residence came through with a metal roof, similar to the one that you're proposing, where it's a corrugated metal roof.
It's on Ravenna Road too, right?
Right. And we said that, standing seam looks a little more professional, more commercial. That was on a residence, so it wasn't on a commercial property. And and they had already actually begun putting the roof up before they came through the board. So that did go up there, but usually we do a standing seam in the commercial, and I don't know if that was specified in our metal roofing for the downtown district. Do you know? I don't know.
I don't think we even talked about it then, because it wasn't really,
We did talk about it 2 weeks ago, and it did go on the meeting minutes that we just approved
okay, yeah.
today,
What
that
we
it
were
was a
talking
note.
about.
Because I was nervous about that coming through. If people start going to corrugated metal roofing, it's just,
Yeah.
To an untrained eye, they may just see it as a black metal roof, but to somebody who's more trained, you see that roof, and to me, when I see that one, it looks more rural rather than urban. And being right at the square, you'd think you would go with a more urban style.
Yeah.
Even though I know it's a similar material, it's a roof, it's metal, it's the difference between going with, a standard asphalt shingle versus doing the higher end architectural or scalloped or something. It's like, well, it's an asphalt shingle, and it's like, well, but to the eye, it tells you something different. And I know this is a small building. It's a very low profile building.
This is actually through Premier Metals, and this is technically their imitation standing seam. Because this, if you notice, this isn't their regular barn-style panel. Like this is, they're called their legacy panel, and like I said, it's just their imitation standing seam. They do carry standing seam, but it's just wider than 11 inches in between. And
Right.
Which is also an option, again, keeping the proportions in mind. We chose this product because of the look, but if you'd prefer a flat metal standing seam product, we'll do what we need to do.
It's not a lot of area, it's not a very large roof.
the top of the roof rubber, so pretty much it's really just the front. I mean,
Yeah, it's only the face.
Right. I think we should go with the standing seam on it.
But that's just a recommendation, right? I mean, is that a big cost? I mean, does this cost a lot?
Well,
Big difference.
Yeah.
yeah, there is a big difference. That's why they build the barns with the corrugated, because it's a lot of square feet. And they do awnings and smaller roofs, or roofs in shopping districts. If you go, to any of the newer shopping districts, they're using the standing seam
Right.
because it's a more finished appearance. And I worry that if we have commercial buildings, because the one that came through before was in the area, but it was a residence, if we start doing commercial buildings with the corrugated, I mean, when do we get to tell somebody that they can't?
Well, if it's not in our, if it's not, we don't have that in the.
Well, that's why we're getting,
Yeah.
it may not, right now it just comes to us for it's not written in anything, but getting one of these will actually put that in there. And in one of these, it says you can't even have asphalt shingles.
Right.
But these are coming through, but they're not passed
Right.
yet.
And that's wild out.
Right.
I think it would be a nice idea to have some standard to begin with, and then going forward, we just use the same for everybody.
Right.
That's what we'll work on, I
I
suppose.
do like the idea of standing seam, but I'll go with the board at this point.
I think that we need to approve it as standing seam and hardy plank because you are in the downtown commercial district and right at the square. And I know it's more cost for you, but we're hoping that other buildings around the square will be upping their level. And if we ask them to do it and we don't ask you to, that's really hard to ask them later. So I would approve it with the standing seam.
I'll second that if that's the case.
Okay. If I may ask a clarifying question
Yes.
before I ask more about that. I was told when I approached the building department that if we were to replace as is with the same materials, that is asphalt, shingles, and the vertical siding that's on it, that it would require only the permit to be pulled and that there wouldn't be any ARB. Can you please shed some light and educate me about that?
Color changes because your commercial would also need to be approved. So if you replaced it with the same color and same style of the roof and the siding, then that's maintenance.
Understood.
And maintenance doesn't need to come through. But when you change the look of it, it's to protect a purple, wall going up, or, some of these big things, but then some of it is the more fine-tuned, and if we start allowing materials to lower in quality, that can spread throughout the square, and especially before we try and do a downtown redevelopment, we need to make sure that they can't say, well, 2 months ago, you just approved him to do that one, and already it was a little tricky with the house that came through with a corrugated style, very similar to that. It's like, well, it is a residence, it's not a commercial building, and this is intended to be a commercial property and it's zoned commercial.
Thank you for clarifying. I wanted to make sure that I didn't have another round
Right.
of ARB to come through.
No.
If this becomes cost prohibitive and we decide to just replace with what's there, I wanted to just clarify so I understood.
Right.
It's a historic home anyways, right?
No, this isn't his, Well, I mean, it's an
What
old
was it,
building,
Bill?
but I don't think we would call this one historical.
Well, so we're trying to upgrade that area anyways, too, on top of it.
Right.
In the long run, it's gonna benefit you to go with the nicer style, because it's
I
gonna
understand.
match in with everything else around it.
Yeah.
So my question, though, is that if it's not part of, we don't have the code with us that we upgraded the materials that you were allowed to use, we need to take a look at that. If that's not there, then it's just a recommendation, right?
That was my next clarification, was is this a mandate or is this a,
Then it goes on a case-by-case basis. And then it comes to this board on a case-by-case basis. But that gives us, how do I describe it? It gives us something to go off of, like, in this district, like, we have certain neighborhoods where we have brick to grade underneath their siding. When their siding ends, you see only brick. And then there are other neighborhoods in the area that can have exposed concrete block. And, you know, yes, it's different in different neighborhoods, but you have to look, is this a more rural property? Is it one of the old neighborhoods that this person is putting their addition on? Does it match the existing house? And then it really does become case by case. But you could say in this neighborhood, everybody has brick to grade. Or on all new homes, we are requiring a man door on the side, you know, that comes out. So we try to be fair, and somebody will come through and say, well, I don't want a man door on the side of my garage because somebody could break in. I might leave it unlocked. I'll never use it. I'm going to put junk in front of it anyway. We get all of that. And we say, well, it does break up the side elevation, and it does give egress from your garage, you know, to outside versus having to go back through the house in the case of an issue. And then we give reasons for it, but yeah, some of it is case by case, some of it is, we're trying to set a standard to say that we are being fair to all business owners. So everybody at that square.
We'll set up
We had another one come through that was on Ravenna Road. Was it, wait, Ravenna? The one that goes to Macedonia. The one that came through and they wanted to put yeah, it's on 82. They wanted to put on the fake stone.
Yeah.
Oh, that's,
It's gray and white.
Yeah, right by the Napa.
it seems that the siding is codified, so my question of clarification is really about the roof. Is the roof recommendation a mandate or a recommendation? Because it's clear that we need to use the hardy board for approval today. And I will accept that and give that as my word. But please clarify as a group whether the roof is a recommendation or a requirement.
if it's not in the book, I say we set some kind of a precedence now because it's gonna happen again and again.
But
So you-
then you could just put the old roof back up. You can
So
put on a,
if we don't approve it, you're gonna just keep the shingles, asphalt?
Which also would be, in the future, I mean, that, they can keep it because it's on their currently, but that also would be
Yeah,
leaving the
but if he's
downtown
gonna change
district.
the color on it, you're gonna keep the same color too, or you're gonna change the color on it?
If the project becomes cost prohibitive, it will be identical to what it is now, which I don't think is attractive, but that's not a reason for you to approve it.
Yeah.
Right.
So I guess this all goes into my decision-making about what it is.
How much of a cost difference we're talking from this type of roof versus the
From
standing?
standing seam versus to this, yeah. Honestly, standing seam's 3 times the price. 3 times the labor and the materials. I mean, materials are 3 times the price, so.
I have a follow-up question to that once you rule, if you rule on the mandate versus the recommendation. So,
What do you think, Don?
The corrugated metal roof or standing seam at the square?
I would think the standing seam would be my pleasure.
That's the best looking look, for sure,
Right.
to me. That, you know, I think you'd agree with it too.
3 times the cost is a big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not saying he has to do it, though. I'm
Right,
just,
right.
you know, it's the
I
best
agree that
looking
standing
look.
seam looks more commercial and more modern.
Yeah.
I think the question that I'm asking for clarification is, are you disapproving corrugated? I'd like to start there.
When I see corrugated metal, I think of enclosures for your trash
Yeah.
container and stuff like that. I don't think of that as
Right.
what I'd like to see on everybody's road.
He's asking to,
My vote on this is that it needs to be the standing seam. This is facing the square at the center of town in the central business district, and I think that
It does make
is
sense.
an appropriate material.
Yeah, I can't deny that's right. And that's what we are. We're the architectural board. You know,
Okay, so standing seam certainly is an option. My next question then, follow up to that is, would a black shingle roof, given the plan that you see right now, be approved, standing as is, as one of my options to walk away from this meeting with without returning? If I chose to do either a white siding, horizontal replacement, or the the hardy board vertical with black shingles if I chose to. Would that be something that would?
I see what you're saying. You're saying if you just did a color change of like material,
Yes, ma'am.
white horizontal siding, vinyl even, I don't know that we
Again,
would,
if it's codified, I understand. If it is not, I just need guidance.
right.
There's nothing about what we're doing on that property that is cheap, and that is not my intention.
Yeah.
But I was not prepared for,
It's just what we're trying to do in the area too, and where we're trying to go with that.
Right, and because it's more precedence, and I know we can say, oh, that's just a little small building that's infill that may get taken down, it's old, somebody may buy it later, but then what does that say to you about your business if we're saying we don't care enough about your building, and we say, oh, somebody will just take that down next?
I understand. I was
If
trying to
we have to
avoid-
assume that you're going to be on this property for the next 20 years in this style of a building, and in that case, I think it does need to give the right face to the square.
Anybody who drives to this town will see that building. I mean, it's right smack in the middle.
Right. With
Where
good,
we-
with nice signage, and we'd have to talk about signage technically. I mean, I guess if they're just replacing where the existing is, but we're not allowed to have signage on roofs. And that came through when Odessa Jewelers put theirs up. And they also don't have a permit for all the signs that are in their windows.
I am not applying for any signage. anything that is-
Okay,
that's-
but I'm
that's-
thinking, I don't know if you've considered where your signage might be on this building.
I have, but it's not something I'm prepared to present on yet.
Okay, okay. I'd want to consult with the law director if we were going to, before I say what the rule is for replacement involving color change. I know if you replace with like, it's the same thing, it's maintenance. But when you start doing changes, you come to us for review process. And so I would say that if you were to replace with white vinyl and black shingles, that would come to us, and then we would vote on whether or not we thought those were appropriate materials for the downtown business district. And then we would say that white vinyl siding is no longer going to be appropriate. We are getting rid of vinyl siding in the commercial district there. And asphalt shingle, I don't know if that has been called out as being. So then I suppose at this point, we would approve it with black asphalt shingles, but not the white vinyl siding. We'd have to go to a more durable material.
That's what I referenced, was if the hardy board was presented verbally right now as an approved material by me too, is the black asphalt shingle something that could be a fallback for me if we choose not to do the standing seam without returning to ARB?
I actually mentioned to Larry Finch on Tuesday night that asphalt shingles would not be in the downtown district. I thought that was interesting and a nice upgrade, that they were going to require people to use metal shingle, metal shake, or wood shake that actually requires maintenance, but real shake, or slate, actual real slate, or artificial slate that's made out of composite materials that functions like it. So I actually did mention this on Tuesday night, that getting rid of asphalt shingles in the downtown commercial district was an interesting proposal. And so that has not gone through yet, but in my opinion, as a board member, I would say that's a good idea and to start doing it now. But it's not like it, but that goes on a case-by-case basis. So I would say that, yes, you could probably do the black asphalt shingles as of now. I mean,
Yeah, but
Yeah.
if I have to pick between black asphalt shingles and a metal roof, black,
Those look better than you think, when you see a little piece.
They might look better with the shingles, so it's
Yeah.
shingles, that, and then the straight seamed.
I'm sorry that you're getting caught right at this moment. We are working on a downtown redevelopment plan, and when these come through, you know, it's hard for us to say, well, it doesn't matter on that building, but it's going to matter on all the other ones.
If it was any other location with a different story, you're like right in the middle, like.
You are at the square. You are one of the faces of the square.
I don't think that compromise has anything to do with my position here, because I want you to do what's right for Twinsburg. I've been here my whole life.
Right.
However, I think that it would be unfortunate if, due to cost prohibitive reasons or other reasons, I end up replacing what's there because it's not attractive.
Yeah.
But if we have to do it, I mean, we're all going to be stuck with it for 20 years. So give me my best options that I have today, please, and I will consider them carefully.
That material he has here, isn't that the exact same one they did on the house? That style?
Yeah,
It's the same.
It looks the same.
it looks the same.
Yeah.
Right. Which,
It looks a little bit better up than it does down, but sometimes I worry more about the black, you know, on the metal. Where I think the asphalt would just blend in a little bit better, but I'm
We
not
could,
saying.
we could,
but the standing seam would look nice if they had signage around it. You know,
Oh,
like
yeah,
it was-
yeah, right, the standing seam.
It's clean.
but
But we understand your cost on it. So, intense labor too.
can we actually like put this in a book somewhere down the road and
Well,
take this one as
eventually
a
that'll
slide
happen,
case?
but it's not
That's
done
being
yet.
crafted by somebody. Right.
So,
Yeah, we're trying to get that straightened out. It's such an important area for the city. We're still trying to, since I've been on the board, we've been trying to do something down there. And nothing's really, you know,
I wouldn't be opposed to that roof over shingles any day. So if he can do, you know,
Is
just
that a
take
better
care of
look
the
over
boards and
shingles?
that roof, I'll be okay with it.
yeah. The cost is about the same for shingles as that. That's probably still more,
Shingles are a little cheaper.
a little bit cheaper.
Do you prefer shingles over something like this or
No, sir.
metal?
I prefer that metal look over the shingles. However, I prefer the price of shingles over the raised, or the standing seam. And it achieves most of what I need to accomplish, because it'll be black.
Do you have pictures of how that looks like on your book, like on the building?
Yeah.
On the house, I mean, I didn't care for it that much because of the
Right.
way
I
it
mean, we're
looked.
getting, this one here shows the whiteboard and batten with a standing seam. That's not the one that
that's
they're
the-
showing.
right.
That's the other one.
Yeah, and this is classic. I mean,
Right.
that's what anyone probably would want that over that, but sometimes things look better, you know. When you can see a little piece of it, you can't tell.
Understood.
I thought
And
that
if you
on the
look at
house.
the amount of roofing,
Actually, I have
it
this-
really isn't that much.
Yeah,
It's not over the entire property. This doesn't like turn down. There's just that little slip right there. It really
Is it like a
isn't.
flat roof at the top?
It has two different pitches. Oh, I'm sorry, on the top. There's a
see-
rubber roof behind the.
The rubber roof behind it, so we're only talking about like this little side and the one in the front.
if you have
If you
it
see this picture,
in your
it
pamphlet, I can look at it
shows-
on the pamphlet, how it looks up.
Maybe the other way.
Now, this is the batten board.
Yeah.
I have the exact roof that he's getting.
There's not much there.
I would just say we do the horizontal boards and
Yeah.
as is.
So I'm familiar with it, I just wanted to kind of see it on the building closer, like if you had a picture of it on the building.
Then
Yeah.
going forward, we can put something on the books that says if you're in a downtown district, you have to use vertical seams versus horizontal. something like
Yeah.
that.
I'm seeing a lot more of it in black. Which is hard to change the color on that once you do it. Anything can be painted, but it usually peels off eventually after a while.
Would you like to see?
Yeah, let me see something.
Oh, yeah. I could see too. I didn't look.
You can show it to Jen first, and Don.
Pictures. That's what it looks like up top.
Right.
It does look a little different than the regular.
And you see all the screw heads. You're just screwing right onto
It's
it.
an
and-
imitation standing seam, yes. So
Right.
you obviously standing seam, you don't have the screw, you don't see the screws, but this
Right.
you do.
Yeah, but like, it all comes down to real estate, it's like location, 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 right? I mean, you can go to Wall Street in New York, and if they're gonna use the same material, it's not gonna cut it, right? But in this case,
Like the ribs are a little taller, skinnier, like your standing seam, has a little more texture in the middle than your regular
horizontal boards.
Yeah.
It's got a little more style than your regular.
Yeah, I was gonna say, in this case, on
Can I
a
see that?
smaller building, it might look
Excuse me.
better.
Can I see that?
John needs to see it too, and seems a lot better when you see it from that way.
And this is.
And I wouldn't let somebody put that in my neighborhood on a house.
But that's the same style panel he's getting, yeah.
And
It's
I
got
like
It would have to be
seam when it's
standing
done on
seam,
ribs.
and that's a
Your
house.
I like it in small batches only sometimes,
your regular sheet, but
porch tops.
like I said, this is imitation standing seam, they're a little wider.
Doing a
so
house right now
They're
Well, I'm gonna-
with a whole porch that runs the whole
Because
thing.
usually on your regular sheet,
Pretty much gonna
center
follow.
to center is only 9 inches.
I'd be okay with something like
My
that.
thought is, I don't know
See
if
what
you
you
guys
showed
want to run votes. I'm
Can I
just
see
going to
it
vote
so
for
I
standing
know what
seam.
we're
In
referencing?
Central Commercial District facing
Would
the
I write
square,
minutes?
and I think we're being cheap.
Yeah.
So
I think overall, whatever you're doing is
I think that's,
it's
you're
good for
doing
the
the right thing by
downtown,
doing
so.
that.
We'll help the area.
I think I'm going to vote for standing. If we run, I don't know if you guys want to run a, if you want to run a vote, but
So what do you prefer?
I think anyone should vote for the way they feel on
right,
it, so.
we can vote both ways if you want and see how it turns out. I would vote for standing seam because this is the downtown central business district. There is not that much square footage of it, although it is a little bit more expensive. I think that it's the right thing to do for the face in the community.
Yeah.
This is a commercial building. And I wouldn't have that material on residences in many of the neighborhoods. So why would I put it on, it's not a rural or an industrial building, it's a commercial storefront building, so, right at the square. So that's how I would vote on it, but you can run it the other way, and if
So
you all
you
go
want
the
st-
other way, it'll
So
go
what about the panels in the front?
a hardy material.
Anyone can make a motion on it. what
But
they
yeah,
want.
anybody can make the motion, but I'm just saying that that's how I would vote. So if somebody wants to vote the other way and wants to run the motion, you can see if it
So I'll
goes.
make a motion that we use the hardy board that everybody agrees with that type of what metal roofing you have in black. So,
So your choice between that or asphalt?
yeah, I'd rather have
But
this
not-
over
you don't
asphalt.
care about the standing seam? They don't have it?
I actually have the exact color he'd be getting, textured black if you want to see it in that style of paint.
Yeah, I'll look at it again, yes.
And you're seeing screw heads still in the image?
Could I see that?
Yes, sir. That's the exact color, that's textured black.
Right.
Same
It's the detail of it, right? Yeah, okay. So it has the wiggliness in between the lines, but it has a V
Yeah.
It's just-
instead of a seam.
Pretty much
Right.
instead of like the rounded rib, just comes up to a point like standing seam. Like they really do, they call it imitation standing seam. It's just, the only thing really different is that you see the screw
Yeah.
instead of not.
Right, and just like vinyl is imitation boards, Yeah.
Is this, are these two
Hardy boards, are we going vertical or
facets
horizontal,
of
be
the
asphalt?
roof?
It'll be up and down.
Up and down, yeah, vertical.
Or is it
Right.
Yeah.
just a line that happens to be there?
Where?
I really don't see it.
This right here going across? That's the snow bar on there. That's to catch all the snow coming down.
Okay. It will probably come down pretty good.
What'd you say? Well, that's straight.
Do you mind if we look at looking at it? It's a compromise, I'll be okay with it.
Originally, when we looked at the product, we decided that standing seam standard, which is glossy, wouldn't get approved, and maybe I shouldn't have assumed, because I got my hearts sort of set on the pricing of this, but because of its position in traffic. I know it sounds crazy, but I chose the matte finish because if the sun is glaring off the roof, I thought it was going to be something that did that. So please keep that in consideration, that it was deliberate to choose this product,
Okay.
because we didn't want it to be a glossy roof.
I mean, it's a dilemma for me just because of what we've been trying to put the
Understood.
standards at, But I want you to, I want to say yes to everything sometimes,
So what were you suggesting, John?
We have a motion. The motion is the hardy plank and
Yeah.
the, what do you call this one, the corrugated?
This is a premier metal roof.
okay, the imitation standing seam.
That's the nickname, but this is, it's,
Legacy panel.
What's
yeah.
it called?
It's called the legacy panel. Third premier metal.
Legacy panel, okay. So that's the motion standing.
Yeah.
Do we want to vote on that one?
I'd rather have this over.
Do we have to vote on a motion before we can have another motion standing also? We do one vote, right? We motion, vote, and then we can do another motion if we need to. Okay.
Correct.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
So we got,
You want to second it? I'm not ready to make a second or motion.
I can second it. I'm going to vote no, though that's okay, right? But it makes the motion go to the vote. Got it.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
also wouldn't mind hearing Don's vote
Well, you'll hear it.
all right, so we got the,
before me.
so the motion is the hardy board with the legacy panel as presented, correct?
Yes.
All right, Ms. Frazier,
No.
Mr. Mitlick,
Yes. As long as it's not the asphalt.
Mr. Sharma,
Yes.
and Mr. Spice.
Yes.
3 yes, 1 no.
Yeah. And I'd like to be on the record that Jen's probably right on this for sure. I like to follow my leader usually, but it's.
If we haven't approved, can we have a second approved? The option to do standing seam? I don't know if you would even do it if you've already got the other one approved.
I'm willing to walk away from the meeting with any and all options you'd like me to consider,
Okay.
having been approved, including black asphalt.
Okay.
Yeah.
I will make a motion to approve the vertical with hardy board and the roof as a black standing seam roof.
I will second that one.
Second. Ms. Frazier,
Yes.
Mr. Bitlick,
Yes.
Mr. Sharma,
Yes.
and Mr. Spice.
Yes.
So you've got two options there.
Yep. And before the discussion or the option that somebody could make a motion for black asphalt, I would like to ask, can you clarify what vertical options I have if I choose to not use hardy board? I was unfamiliar. What are my other choices?
To get the board and batten look,
To have a striped profile look. Vertical. Which one's
painted
your-
white.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, I know T111 is specifically not allowed.
Okay.
Vinyl, not allowed. What else would you use?
Yeah, I would use the hardy board.
Great.
I know, I mean, I can't imagine you would want to do it in
It
stone
looks
and then
like the real
paint it.
thing, yeah.
Or masonry,
I-
masonry is encouraged, but that, you wouldn't want to do that and then paint it, and that wouldn't be good for vertical.
Not this look. So.
And
it
so
then
you can do an
hardy with-
architectural metal panel.
Okay, understood.
There are architectural metal panels out there that you could look at.
Yeah, they're
Then the hardy
much
with
richer,
the
right?
black shingle is, I guess, just the last question, just in case it becomes the fallback.
Okay.
When you do maintenance on this standing seam roof, can you walk on those verticals?
Only this area is the only area that you would even approach to walk on. This one's too steep.
Yeah, they work one way, just one
So this is,
direction.
and this right here is only a little reveal. It doesn't even really return down. So it's just this one plane that somebody would consider walking.
Facade, more for
Yeah,
looks.
they work their way off the roof
Yeah.
to one side. Left
Right,
or
so does
right.
it crunch as they come down? I don't know. Yeah. Okay, so you want to run a vote on black asphalt?
Please.
Okay, I'll make
With
a
hardy.
motion to approve it with the white vertical hardy board plank and the black asphalt shingle.
Got a second?
Yeah, I'll second it.
Ms. Frazier,
Are you turning this into a lawsuit? Because I gotta think here what my personal opinion versus the legal, like I'm going to say, because I voted no on the other So I'm going to say no.
Mr. Mitlick,
Yes.
Mr. Sharma,
No.
and Mr. Spice.
Yes.
Who gets the tie in
You
there?
get the tie, yeah. All right, oh, and just to note, you talked about the 2 white columns on the right corner. You also have one in the back. Would that also, that would match the other columns, I assume?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Does council break the tie?
Yeah.
Oh, is that how it works?
That's what I'm asking.
I think, I always thought ties were yeses.
Ties were yeses?
But I don't know
Robert's
if they
rules?
changed since then.
John's rules? Those are John's rules.
Well,
Ties are
that's
not
why we have 5.
That's why we have a
members.
legal director, and we should have 5 members.
I mean, at one time, I always thought that, that we were told that ties were yeses.
We can,
That's fun.
John's not here, we can take her advice into it.
No,
No?
she's not on the board, she can't vote.
I mean,
But
it's,
if-
all
but if it
it's pretty
didn't go
clear
through,
that
then he'd go
we
to
don't
council.
want, we prefer to have metal over
It doesn't go
shingles.
to council on the tie?
If he didn't agree, or if he didn't agree with what happened here, then he'd go to council
Yeah,
for approval.
yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm going with the commercial building doesn't have asphalt shingles.
And that has been codified as of today's meeting?
I meant,
I'd have to look at
I
that.
thought
I didn't know this was
council
coming
knew that
through,
one.
that we were going to be debating on this. We have it in the
They always
code.
told me that.
I'd have to look and see
That's all I
what
really
it
want to know.
is.
It's
Right,
either
the downtown
black or white.
C5 district,
Yes.
right. We have a listing of materials that have been approved and materials that are specifically not approved.
Can we get the list before, like, maybe we can postpone this till like next week and then.
We already voted,
Yeah, I mean,
So,
he
yeah.
can do the roof that he wants,
yeah.
which was what you wanted, the metal roof, right?
Okay.
And then,
The hardy board.
I think it'd be better than the asphalt anyways, and that's why I kind of changed my thought, but typically, I agree with Jen on a lot of
I
things.
think if you're looking for a more professional, more striking look, I would go with the
Yeah.
more high-quality
If you
material. It's
can,
not
I
a
would
lot of square
definitely
footage.
go with the standing seams. You know,
Yeah.
I see the cost jumping 3 times, but if you can do it, that would be the nicer option.
I'll certainly
Prefer
consider
it
it.
that way.
Yeah.
If you want to consider it,
Thank
The
you.
pictures helped out, and then seeing that other roof, because I didn't care for it on that house, but it was already on, and then when I really looked at it, I didn't think it was that bad.
Okay, understood.
And it's residential, not
That's
commercial.
residential, right?
so we mark it as approved as noted?
Yes, on the first one.
Yes, because we did make a note with the change of the, vinyl to, yeah.
Yeah. no, I think it
Which
was-
actually is more durable and could be a better investment versus something that, somebody throws a cigarette against it and you get a, thing with a vinyl, it melts it, not-
Understood.
So
And it's still upgrading that area, at least as a small step, so it's still better than what it was, I think. So,
a tie is actually a no, because it's not approved.
Okay.
So a tie would be a no on the shingle roof.
yeah. well, that's
Understood.
good for us to know from now on.
And
And then if that wanted to change, then you go to council.
thank you.
I don't know how fast they address it, though.
Next meeting
Soon as they
probably,
can.
right?
What's that?
It would be their next meeting.
It'd be our next meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you
I think
needed.
going forward, we should just go with the flat seams, like the ones we talked about, the standing seams.
Yeah.
Just going for entire, like, just residential too.
Was he supposed to
I-
stamp 3
right, I-
times for 3 different motions?
Yes. We have 2, we did do 3 motions, we would have 3 stamps.
We have to-
I know,
We have
this
two
is not how we normally do this.
Yeah, yeah. I should be next to him helping him with it.
That's okay.
Sorry.
So we gotta do 3 more.
Yeah.
Steve Marker would have helped on this one. He was
Yes.
here. It would have been good to hear him.
Are there any other questions for us?
No.
No, you
Thank you for your
Thank
time
you.
and attention.
Thank you very
Appreciate
much.
it.
Thanks for working with us, too.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'll be in touch.
Thank you very much.
With the building.
And I thought it was a
Yeah.
good move to make the other motions on top of it.
Yeah,
But you were trying to still help him out,
right. No, and I think it's fair to have it vote through, and whether or not I'm on one side or another, it still needs to get
Right.
voted on, and
Right.
Yeah, I really wanted to say what you said, but at the same time, I know
It's a
it's.
small business, but they do have a
He had
premier
us and we
location.
had
Yeah,
him.
you're
like,
right.
He was gonna go with the asphalt otherwise, and that would've looked like crap.
Yeah, I think it's a
Well,
better
if
look
it's
than the
new, I
asphalt.
don't know that it would.
Yeah.
It's when it's,
The
yeah,
pictures
15 years
helped a little
old.
bit more when I saw it, and then,
Yeah.
putting that other one that was pretty close to the same thing, because I thought that was gonna look really, really bad when I seen it, but I didn't realize it was up already. So, it's still an upgrade in the area.
Okay, next time, can we see the list of what's approved in what district, like residential versus commercial?
Yeah, it's,
Do you have a copy? They should have a copy of that. Maybe we bring it to every meeting. I was,
Yeah, because it would, and some standards, I think we should address it going forward.
Well, we have a
We
lot
may
of this
have-
written down, but now like we're seeing new, more things that we never would see, like the board and batten and.
New architectural stuff coming
Yeah,
out, yeah.
and we got houses
All
now
right.
that have.
so we have,
Shake shingles and
Any
then board and
plans?
batten, and they have stone and brick all in the same house.
so we have
I mean, that's how it is,
approved as noted.
Right, they're putting everything they can on that
These
house.
houses,
noted.
the ones he proposed, like
Approved
the
as noted.
whiteboards and the blacks, the roof, metal roof, they do look,
Yeah.
I'm okay with certain, like I see a
Yeah.
couple of them here and there, they look all right.
Yeah.
So that
Yeah,
was the,
I thought the black would look kind of gaudy.
But
In certain ways it does, because it always seems like, but I'm in houses all the time and people are still, they went from black and they're starting to take it away now a little bit. So I'm seeing that too. It's like, black was a little bit too much,
I mean, his location is like, it's like right downtown, like every time you drive by it, you will see that thing.
Yeah.
Every single time.
And I didn't mind the different color of it, but I only saw it black.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would want a black roof ever on my house.
I mean,
What did they
look
call
at
that,
high- look at
legacy
high school,
panel?
I mean, they got
Legacy
similar
panel.
type.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah,
That is what they have on the high school, isn't it?
Yeah.
yeah. And that's what you're seeing everywhere still. That classic, just like on a fake copper look though, like worn copper.
I think it would look better than what it is now. I mean, 'cause
Well, I
right now
agree
it's an
with
eyesore, so.
The picture just made me think like, and it's still an upgrade there. That was just sitting there kind of like it looked lonely, like it looked old, it just needed something.
And the more new stuff we approve and the more new buildings get
Yeah.
approved for downtown, I think it's gonna push the others to upgrade.
Yeah, it's gonna produce some money for the city.
Yeah, we can, well, that's why it comes to, that's why it's case by case. And then to avoid us going case by case, so we can have our own,
I don't,
but the whole point of having this board is that it's not prescriptive. It really is, it needs to be case by case, because if you do it prescriptive, then, and people follow the letter of the law, you end up with stuff
Yeah.
that looks like it followed the minimum law,
yeah, but like,
I
at a,
appreciate the recommendations, but if it's really costly and it's not in our
I mean, if we're
code,
talking about,
do that.
they're doing a $50,000 renovation, and it's $1,000 for that material, or it's $3,000 for the other. I mean, you know what I mean? I mean, what if they say, oh, you know what, we're actually gonna do vinyl, or we're gonna use used shingles from another building, and we're gonna
Yeah.
put them on here because we got them for
Yeah, then
free,
you
and
feel
now
the
it's free
cost,
versus
yeah.
3, or it's, I mean, it can't all be about cost, and especially when you have a commercial building, I mean, there is a cost of doing business, and there,
I think what I'm saying is like legally, we can't require them to do it if we don't already have it, if we don't have it in the code. We
But they
can't
can
tell
go, it could go to
that's,
council.
no, we can, that's what this board can do.
Yeah. But
We are
council's-
representing the community and what the community's design aesthetic is, and you can't put a design aesthetic into a code.
I think it has to follow the code.
Yeah.
I mean, if we're really to push through, it has to follow.
But they can always appeal it though, and
Right.
then
Right.
it falls into your hands
Yeah.
then.
If it's not in the code, then they can appeal it.
Like, I would feel bad if you said like it goes to the next meeting, that's good then. So you don't have to wait that long for it. you know.
Yeah. That was nice of you guys.
Yeah, it was a
This is the asphalt
professional
shingles
motion
where
on
it's
that
high.
part to think about this, trying to help out. But, she's right, I meant, you almost have to take the cost out of it for our part, because we're looking at aesthetics and like, what would look better, and it's obvious the other one would look better.
And it's not always the most expensive thing, it really.
Yeah,
But,
yeah. Like, the board and batten, if they're just doing the front of the building, that's a one-day job for somebody, that
Yeah.
roof,
And you might say, oh, it costs more. It's like, yeah, but how much more? Oh, it costs 50% more. Well, 50% more on how big of a building, on how much of a project. I mean, adding a window, Pulte will tell you, well, what in the code says you have to have a window? And it's like, well, you have a big blank side and we don't want we want windows. Well, that window's $300. And it's like, yeah, that window's $300 and you're building a $650,000 house.
Right.
Yes, adding that window is $300. Well, whose pocket does that come out of? Well, it's either yours or the homeowner's. I don't know how you did your sale of the house. But, you know, and to say that we don't have I mean, that just, there's no power of this board then to be able to make those decisions to say that, you know, we're protecting the community from shoddy craftsmanship. We're protecting the community from ugly buildings. We're protecting, and that's kind of our job, and it does cost more. Most of the decisions we make probably cost more money than less, you know?
If we wouldn't be here, it would be much cheaper to build it.
It would be, right.
Construction or
It should just
anything.
be in the code.
And then we would, right.
Put it in the code, and then it's not. I mean, it
Right,
shouldn't-
and Hudson has some things in their code that we don't, such as 12 feet between windows. If you have an expansive wall that's longer than 12 feet, you have to have another window. So that they can't have these walls that are 26 feet long, you know, between windows. And we say, oh, there's not enough windows, let's try and add a window. Well, in their code, it says you have to have so many windows per square feet. And actually, you can do a fenestration percentage, which gives the size of the window. Not just that you put a window in and it's a tiny little thing, but you actually have to have a certain percent of your wall as fenestrated. And that's in a lot of codes in like.
Right, and that's what I think,
Cleveland.
that's what my only point is, it's not in the code.
Right,
We
and then
need
that
to
gives
get
us
it in the code if
protection.
That's what we want to do.
Also,
We need to-
like, if it's not in a code and we, you know, just go case by case, if we approve for one person and they did not for other one.
And you have to remember, you have
you
to have the same
remember, right?
board, you
And
have
then
to,
We could
right.
be somehow liable for it. I don't know, like, you know, I
Well,
think
no, they
having
played that
one
against
unified
us.
answer as a group in the beginning, it will help us countless hours arguing down the road.
They will bring up that somebody has it and you don't, but each case is different, and there's reasons why.
And then they have to appeal why they don't need to follow the code because, well, it says that you have to have 12 feet without a window, but we put in this really nice stone chimney, you know, can that count as architectural feature? And it's like, well, yes, that looks very nice. You don't need to have a window there because you have this beautiful stone chimney. Well, what if it's well, we stuck a box on the side for our our ventless, gas fireplace, we stuck that box. And then we'd have to say, well, we don't like that box. If you had a beautiful stone chimney, we would have said yes, but and then you're back here again, and we're back to arguing. Well, in the code, it says 12 feet between, and it'll still be, it may not be as often, but it'll still be back with people saying, but we did put a fireplace in, it's a ventless fireplace. Well, now you have to extend it to grade. What, then I have to put a foundation under it? I don't want to put footers underneath it, that's expensive. Okay, then you can be a foot off the grade, but please promise to plant bushes. And you know what I mean?
I think it's a good point John made that going forward, I think cost is, we should take that out of our decisions because,
Unless it's astronomical.
Yeah,
Well,
right.
we're-
Common
yeah.
sense
We're-
things,
yeah.
right?
I do like that
But
point.
it's okay for somebody not to have, we've never got mad at somebody's vote. As long as I've been on it, somebody said,
Right.
like, why would you vote
Because you
that
can
way?
usually you can understand the other side, even if you don't go
You're
with
allowed to
it.
vote no, you're allowed
Yeah,
to vote no
right.
sometimes.
Everybody
We
has a
forget
voice,
that.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's why there's 5 members, so 2 can say no.
And as a chairman, I think you always do the right thing because you're trying to follow the rules that we're trying to get to. And sometimes I know that you're right and I still vote no.
Yeah.
And I don't- But I'll tell you, you were right, and then is that wrong for me to say that,
Right.
But sometimes I just want them just to, have something that's at least better, than what they had before.
So going forward,
Yeah.
for everybody.
I mean, we're seeing more and more new materials and ideas, and
I think it has to be in the code.
Well, for an example,
We'll just put it
I
in the
like what I
code.
see on that.
Section 5, roof materials. This is not Twinsburg, if we're still on the record here. This is not Twinsburg, this is another community. They specify roof materials. Permitted pitched roof materials include wood shingles and shakes, metal tiles or standing seam, slate, and ceramic tile. Mansard roofs, which this has a mansard roof on the front of it, require either cedar shake or metal as the main roof material. Asphalt shingle systems are not permitted. Engineered wood or slate may be approved with examples of successful, high-quality installations in comparable climates. And then flat roofs are permitted to use any roof material appropriate to maintain proper drainage. I mean, that's not our community, that's another community, but they specify specifically
city
which
is that?
materials. Richfield.
That's Richfield, is that there, or is that just like a perspective plan, or is that actually, I think that
Has that actually been passed?
has not been present, no, it
Okay.
has not, yeah.
Okay.
And I'm even okay with that if it's in the code, 'cause that's a good
Right.
point, is if you're gonna say, okay, we're gonna make them have those type of roofs, it's gotta be in the code, or we can't.
would take out the wood
Or in my
roof.
opinion, we can't do that.
The wood looks nice in small installations.
Yeah,
It does
you're right.
require maintenance. They have to spray it like every other year
Yeah,
for,
For the last,
They
But
use
it looks
hardy board
nice.
for that too now.
for the last case, he didn't have much roof to begin with.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
just all rubber in the back and just a little bit of front and the side.
I'm waiting for,
Should have been
a-
okay with that.
yeah. I'm waiting for a sign to come through because they currently have a roof sign on the mansard roof, which technically I don't know is a part of our code because we said no roof signs. And I know that when Odessa came through, that was an issue. And they said that they just don't have any space to put a sign on. It's all glass window. And so we allowed them to put their roof sign on. Then they came back through trying to present all these signs that go in the windows, and we voted them all no. And then over the course of 2 years, he put up all the signs anyway. And then it was brought up that these signs were specifically voted no, and he put them up anyway, and nothing ever came of that.
Yeah.
Are they still out?
They're still up.
Yeah, and they're still upright. For a while, they were getting on them, and he took them out, and then they
Oh,
started.
yeah, I think he took them out and then they put them back in again.
Who enforces that?
Building
Building
department,
department. Yeah.
yeah.
They
But,
probably got other
you know,
things to
I'm
do.
thinking, like, I don't want to start another thing like
Yeah.
that with somebody where we say no to something and they say, oh, yes.
He was a character that I won't say nothing else about the guy. It's pretty funny.
So,
Even,
but I just wonder, you know, are we going to have another roof sign come through with this? Is he going to come through and we're going to have to really look at the letter of the law? Is he allowed to have a roof sign? And technically, if he has one currently, he should be able to maintain it. But if he replaces it, just like anybody who's within the right-of-way, we have the right to say, no, you were in the right-of-way, you're now against the law, you have to move it. Where if he replaces his sign, technically,
Can he replace it with a
He
new
can't.
sign, that same dimensions, same layout and everything?
he can change the, I don't even know that that comes back to us, if he can change the text on it.
Well, you're leaving,
He would have to have a new variance. So we'd have to provide a new variance for him to make any changes to something that's not backed by the code now.
we should have a book of codes here.
We do, we do, yeah.
We do.
I thought maybe it was in my email, I was trying to find it in my email.
yeah.
Yeah.
We should have studied law. You know, I was studying design. My sister just got her law degree
Oh, nice.
last 2 weeks ago. I'll have to call her.
That's awesome, yeah.
Yeah.
Just starting out.
It shouldn't be this hard.
No.
I really thought we were going to be done in
Jinx
5
us
minutes.
by saying it's gonna be an easy
Well,
one
we
today.
could end the meeting if you guys want to.
Okay, 2 things we have left on the agenda. One is to excuse absent members. Can we have a motion to excuse David? We believe he's still with his mother.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second it.
All right, Ms. Frazier,
Yes?
Mr. Mitlick,
Yes.
Mr. Sharma,
Yes?
Mr. Spice.
Yes,
What if I said no? I mean, still get passed, right?
You'd lose.
Because like 3, right?
Right.
Yeah.
3 people excused him, you didn't, but it's on record that you didn't excuse him because you were mad at him. That is not true.
but he wasn't here either way.
Right. And then, we don't have a work session listed on here, but I did attend the latest CIC meeting where they were looking at 2 different developers, and the developer that was voted on had submitted a similar plan that they had done for another city, and I brought it with me if you'd like to look through it, but I was impressed with it, and I think that they should be a quality developer, and if they put together a packet such as this one for us, and we can have input on it before they begin selling properties to individual architects, that should help maintain some control over the quality of the construction that goes on downtown, the style of it, the character of it.
I liked what I've seen in there.
Yeah, and I
Have they
know,
built one already in Richfield, or are they building it right now?
they haven't built it yet.
They haven't built it, that's just.
So,
And this is just one example. This isn't, saying that we're going to do what they did, but this is an example to show, how they can specify design so
have an
that,
extra copy of that? That's not.
we have,
Is it a PDF
yeah,
online?
yeah.
Can we get an email so we can review it sometime? Make some notes?
Sure. Yeah, especially section 5 is their architectural design guidelines. And it would be nice to be able to work with them, on the commercial and also on the residential, so that we don't get single-family Pulte houses where they come through and they show us, how you haven't been here before, that Pulte will come in when they're starting a new community and show us, these are the houses we're going to try and sell to people. Do you like this? Do you have any issues with them? Because before we sell them to people, we don't want to, because they sign contracts usually before they even come to us. They've already sold it, the cost is already set. Anything we change usually comes out of Pulte's pocket, because they've
They want
already.
to make sure we get it on the,
Right, anything we're going to change is going to be small enough that it's within their profit margin, they don't mind, or things like that. But they've come through, some of them had really funky-looking porches, and we're like, please don't do that elevation, cross off elevation B, do elevations
Very
A, C,
helpful,
D,
yeah.
E, F, G, so we had once or twice where we limited it. But then it's also hard because you have the right of the property owner to develop their property, this is a single-family house. If somebody wants a house that looks like a normal house, why can't they build it?
So between
And
Ryan
it's-
and Pulte, they've been way more, helpful in they were good about changes before. They argued about every little change, no matter what we did.
Oh my, yeah, they
And
did
go
have
through it.
somebody.
So over the time, they realized, they have to work with these
it
communities.
goes back
too.
to standardizing it.
And a lot of it is, we say we have a standard of a 2-foot stone return on the sides. Everybody has to do it. We don't care
Yeah.
what the stone, it
just
has to have that.
cooperate much more.
Otherwise, it looks thin and fake. And
Yeah,
you
let's-
know it's just applied
Let's
material.
make sure going forward, if it's not in the code, we put in the code, so we are not,
Yeah.
making the decision. And
Well,
on
that's-
those cases, we can do case by case.
Yeah.
So we can protect that way.
Yeah, when they come in, they show us 5 houses with 5 elevations,
Yeah.
and then we keep, but they've worked well with us over the last 5 or 6 years, but man, a long time ago.
I still want more on the sides.
Yeah, I do
I'm
too.
going with the idea of what
They're
makes
so
this one so
close,
different than
the
others,
houses,
but
So close together, though.
these houses will look dated in 30 years,
I
they
mean-
will not, this will be a Parma or a,
It's for Ryan Homes, and they're not very quality.
No, they skip where they're allowed
they
to.
put it all on the front face.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They balance the back, and they
Yeah.
pop a couple on the side to,
Yeah.
make the minimum. And that would be when you have a code that says 12 feet fenestration, we stuck one on.
They're-
It doesn't
they're
matter
very-
if it's
they're
centered
very
or off-centered, or it's on.
Yeah,
And
it's
it's like,
like a
well,
cookie cutter
I know their
houses,
houses
and they're not
inside out.
very
Yeah.
sturdy. Like one strong gust of wind will probably.
It's hard to build over some of the things because they get away with 2-foot studs sometimes,
Well, this is Payne Builder, that,
Pain and Pain,
Payne and Payne.
they are a quality builder. They're in the top group of builders in this area.
How much are those
They
average
haven't
cost of
been
the houses
over
will
here.
be?
They haven't been in Twinsburg, though.
We don't know yet. We haven't gotten that far.
This developer, the CIC
Yeah.
is talking to, that's who they're.
Yeah.
They're in an upper group. They develop, they're known, I think, more for some of the large houses, large single-family houses.
Yeah.
But I guess they do have some others that are,
In Walden, they have some around 2,100.
Oh,
Yeah.
do they?
Yeah.
What, was that something new in Walden, or?
It's like this, it's all white, the whole development is white, and the
Yeah.
only thing different is the doors, they changed the door color, have you ever
Yeah.
seen
I
this?
have to
we
go
went
back
back there, my husband and I went back there and went, oh, this isn't for us.
That's what I said, I
Yeah,
was like,
right.
oh.
I didn't know they developed back in there.
Yeah.
And then Aurora's really ready to go big, but I can tell you, Streetsboro, they have so much
Oh, I
good
think they
flat
approved
land
like
there.
2,000 or something.
Yeah.
2,000 of
They
these,
have already built 2,000 homes there.
something
Right.
like that. I mean,
In the last
it's,
few years.
yeah, a lot.
Ryan had 1,000.
Oh, that neighborhood has
alone.
900 new houses going in the next year.
But
And
they
it's
have,
like,
it's almost perfect. The
Are those all
development's
townhouses
flat.
or like those the singles? Like
single-family houses with
they're right,
5-foot
right next to each
setbacks.
other, pretty much.
Very
Yep.
close. Yeah,
Yeah.
they get
Oh.
away with a lot more because.
But they can build them for
Streetsboro's been ready to grow.
200,000.
I almost bought
and-
one up there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're ready to grow in Streetsboro. I mean, they're
Yeah.
growing, but the houses, they feel like they're 10 feet apart. They're all in the same.
They are,
Yeah.
literally 10
Yeah,
feet apart.
Yeah, and then they're. it's
5
just-
foot to the lot line, 5 foot to the lot
yeah,
line, 10 feet apart.
That's like,
Yeah.
Well, you know, when we were young, we had houses like that, though. I remember
But that
talking
was
to
a
my neighbors
driveway.
through the windows, but, you know, once they got.
I wouldn't
once we
live in a
moved
house
into
like that.
colonial,
I like
it
a little
was like
space between neighbors.
that. Yeah.
I also like townhouses, though.
Yeah.
It's
I
a
do too,
different,
yeah.
it's a different population, but it's,
If you're living downtown.
right,
I think some of us are
Right.
ready to go.
yeah.
Yeah, ready?
I saw that look you gave.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Yes, I'll second it.
Thank you.